Mine.
Good evening. Good evening. So today I just really quickly had to come on because I've just seen too much and the deadlines are coming and going really quickly. And I really want everyone to get this money. So Shantae Roddy runs this fabulous group on Facebook, Black Women Promote. And I'm a member of the group. And she has been, just like I have been, preaching to everybody to go get this money. So I was like, let me partner with her. Let's get it out there because there's so much money still available. You guys, there's still billions of dollars available that nobody has touched. And it's for us to have. So you guys, because you all know I've been working on my YouTube and we are this close, literally, to me getting them checks. Because like by July 1, I should be on the payroll with YouTube and count that on my taxes for 2020. So do me a favor, everyone, go to YouTube because we're going to cut off of Facebook. So head over to YouTube, billions of dollars, Nika. Head over to YouTube and check us out on YouTube. I put the link here in the chat. So it's in the chat on Twitch. It's in the chat on Facebook. LinkedIn, I will send you guys. No, LinkedIn, you guys are fine. But please head over to YouTube and check us out. We're going to be on YouTube. And here we go. Over to YouTube. And pull that one. Okay, and here we are on YouTube. So, okay, so let's start at the first beginning. So, the first beginning is stimulus checks. There are people, unfortunately, that still don't have them.
Yeah.
You know what is the holdup? What's the way? You know, do you know anything about what's going on with that?
Well, it just depends. Everybody has a different situation of why they may not have gotten their checks. I think there's still about 12 million people in the U.S. that haven't gotten their stimulus check. One of the main reasons is for the lower income individuals and families who are not required to file taxes, right? And making sure that they get their information in, meaning that they provide their information of where they want their checks or the
sent.
Yes. Sent to on the IRS website, which is www.irs.gov. The portal is there for you to submit your information, but they're not going to hold your check indefinitely or your deposits. You need to make sure that they have your information so that they know where to send your money because you want to get your money. So that's one of the main reasons. So the lower income, if you're not required to file taxes and you're in that lower income threshold, they just need you to provide your information. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason could be your taxes. There's a lot of people who, for whatever reason or another, have not filed their taxes 2018 or 2019. That is going to lock you out of a lot of access to stimulus dollars that are out there waiting for you. So at minimum, you need to have your 2018, or if you don't have that done, do your 2019, amend them if you need to, get them done like I did because I'm a business owner. I did them with every intention of amending them later on, but don't let that hold the process up for you getting your money.
You just said something I hadn't thought about because that's something I could do. I could do them and amend them.
Yes.
That is so smart. You know, that might be what I do because I told you I'm having my little issue, but we're going to get that resolved. So the other thing is that you guys, and I don't know what these things stand for. Maybe you do. What does EIDL stand for?
Yeah, so EIDL is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan
Program
right. That's administered through the SBA, and the SBA is the Small Business Administration.
Yeah, so the EIDL, you guys, was the very first thing. I mean, way before, it was before I think the stimulus checks even. EIDL came as soon as the pandemic started, and they very quickly were like, they are going to give you. And if you all watched, there's a part 1 to this. I sat with Dr. Randy. Dr. Randy's in finance, and we talked about this money. So now this is just an update to that video, but we talked about it, and we said the EIDL gives you up to $10,000 as a grant. But you can ask for up to $500,000. But the first $10,000 is a grant, and you can get that. You don't have to give that money back. It is free money. Now, let me tell you, I applied for that EIDL and forgot all about it. And when I tell you one day I looked at my account at something and was like, what's this? When I tell you the money just appeared and it was so fast, I was like, wow, that was quick. So because it happened so quickly, apparently they did stop. But they have opened it back up, you guys. So go and apply for that money.
Yes.
Go apply for it.
Today.
Yes, today. Don't wait, you guys. As soon as we get off, you need to apply for that money. The EIDL, you can apply for it through SBA.gov.
Yes.
So if you just go to that website, and I'm gonna start trying to post these banners as fast as I can, you guys. But go to SBA.gov, and then after this is over, I will make sure that I put all of the links in the box below here on YouTube. They'll be in the box below, and if you're not on YouTube, you can always visit my blog, and I'll make sure I have links to them there. But SBA.gov. That is where you need to go to get the EIDL. Now, this is something else I learned from Shantae's fabulous group and all her great knowledge. If you are denied, Shantae, what can you do?
You want to request, you want to submit to the SBA a request for reconsideration of your grant and or loan. Okay. Yeah. So some people did get the grant that were denied, but a whole lot of people like myself did not. But you definitely want to submit a request for reconsideration, because there's a number of different reasons why your loan was denied or your grant. If you didn't get your grant, that just means that the SBA could not verify your bank account for whatever reason. Maybe it was a mischaracter. Maybe you put the routing number where the account number should have been. But all you simply have to do once you submit your reconsideration is that they're going to ask you to submit a verified banking information so that they can deposit your money. What I can tell you is that since they reopened up the applications to all qualifying businesses yesterday, there's people that have actually gotten their deposits like today.
See, I told you that was the fastest one.
Yeah.
That one was a blink of an eye and it happened.
Yeah.
It happened so fast. Like I said, I don't think it was like a week that had went by, and I looked at the date it was deposited. I was like, oh my God, that was fast. And actually at first I thought it was my stimulus money, but then that came in a paper check.
Right. And then the thing is that they're not going to notify you. So a lot of people are expecting an email. They haven't been consistent that way. Mostly it's just going to pop up in your account. You're going to check your account and it's going to be money there. Right. So it can be between $1,000 and $10,000 in grant. And right now they're based on the number of employees you have. So if you don't have any employees, you get $1,000 free, not having to repay it. So it's up to $10,000 that you can get in the form of a grant. And that's whether or not you're approved or denied. And it's not contingent on you accepting the loan. You need to know that too. Because some people think, do I have to take the loan? No. You do not.
No. And you know what? This is, I mean, that probably of all the things I filled out, that might have been the quickest and the easiest one.
It was so cool.
They're not looking at credit score. I mean, they literally are like, you have a bank account. You can state that this is your business and that they can see that this is your business. Boom. So please, please don't let them take this money back, and don't let it not come to you when it could come to you. Free money. The other thing I want to talk about is the PUA. So pandemic unemployment assistance. So PUA actually started here in Illinois, California, I think New York, I think those are Georgia. Those might have been the first few states. Now all the states are doing it. And it's really simple. You guys go to the unemployment website for your state. Yeah. It should be right on the home page. It should be one place for you to click regular unemployment and another one that says PUA. And guess what? They will give you back pay. So you can go all the way back. I think it goes back to the first week of April, I think.
It depends, right? Yeah, for the additional $600 per week, federal from the federal government, that starts the first week of April. I believe that's April 4th.
Right.
But for the other assistance, then it can go. You can retroact back to when you first, became unemployed or were impacted by COVID-19. So understand that every state is different, but this is definitely money that's out there available to you. That it doesn't make sense not to go after.
Yes, right? And let's be very clear. This money is not for just people who are employed by someone. You guys, self-employed people for the first time ever can file for unemployment. And this is the unemployment you can file for. If you're a gig workers are people that do Uber, Lyft, Instacart, DoorDash, Peapod, anybody who does a job like that, you are a gig worker. You can apply for this. Independent contractors. all of your 1099 people, if that's how you turn in your taxes, you have 1099s, then you qualify for this money. So you want to definitely make certain that you apply for the money. The other great thing is the CARES Act, which came into place somewhere in April. The CARES Act is giving the extra $600. So every week, in addition to what you're getting from this PUA unemployment, you get the $600 from the CARES Act. And actually what happens is you apply for the PUA on the unemployment website, and they'll tell you how much you're going to get. But then you'll get a separate email telling you how much that the $600 is coming from the CARES Act. And each state is different. I know here in Illinois, they're giving you until April. No, they'll give you until July 25th, the extra 600. But the unemployment, they said you can do until April of 2021. So that's the kicker, you guys. April of 2021, that's Illinois. You have to check your state. The other awesome thing about the state is that, about each state, is that most of them, instead of the regular amount that you would get from unemployment, they're actually giving you more. So instead of, if you were usually going to get 300 from unemployment, you'll actually probably get more than that. So plus this 600. So you guys, it's worth it. Rich, I don't understand your question. What happens after? If you could, clarify that, I will definitely make sure we get that answered. Bernadette, what link is not working?
Yeah, I want to do one clarification. So across the board, the additional $600 per week is scheduled to end July 31st. That's for everybody. And what needs to happen is the Congress needs to pass another bill to extend it.
Yeah.
So we need to advocate for ourselves. I always encourage all of us to don't be afraid to write your Congress representatives. Let them know that these need to be extended because your family needs this additional help. So don't be afraid to do that. But this is scheduled to run out or to end July 31st. Okay.
Okay. If you get the 10,000, but you're still waiting for the 30-year fixed rate loan.
Yeah, Okay, so the loan portion is up to 30 years, right? With like a 2.5 interest rate. You can wait on that and still get the EIDL, right? So, they're funded by the SBA, but your grant is not contingent on your loan. So they may deposit your grant and still be processing your loan at the same time. And then they'll let you know what the status is, what you need to do, if there's any follow-up paperwork or documentation that you need to provide, like they did with me. That did not stop them from giving me my grant.
Awesome. So then there's PPP, which is the Personal Payroll Protection Program.
Yeah, it's the Paycheck
Protection Program. Yeah. So PPP is, even if you are a solopreneur, you can apply for PPP.
Yeah.
And this money, some of it could be a forgivable loan, or all of it could be a forgivable loan. Mm-hmm. But there's calculators all over on the internet you can find that'll help you to fill out the information so you can see what percentage would be forgivable. They're asking you like how much you pay in mortgage or how much you pay in rent and how much was your payroll, etc. And so they base it off of all that information. And you never know, you could end up with a forgivable loan, which would be why you should just apply. Yeah. So I know the PPP, you had an actual figure that people qualify for if they are a solopreneur and they make a certain amount?
Yes. Yeah, so if you're a solopreneur, and I'm glad that you said that because so many solopreneurs don't think they qualify for any of these programs, and you qualify for all of the programs. But for the Paycheck Protection Program, you can qualify for up to $20,833. Let me say that again. $20,833. That amount is based on the maximum you can take per payroll, right? And so you consider yourself and they consider you as an employee of one, since you don't have any employees. So this is your owner's compensation that you can take up to maximum $100,000. And so you would just basically take your tax return and that line 31, they're going to assess it based on your net, unless you have payroll. Okay. But otherwise, you're going to look at your tax return. What did you net? Divide that by 12 and then times that amount by 2.5. That will tell you the loan that you want to apply for. and that you could qualify for. But the whatever amount, so if you qualify and you're funded for 100,000, you have the ability to get 100% of that forgiven, which means it basically becomes a grant and it's free money.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that you so I know, like, for pay so most of the banks are participating in this, FYI. So if you have a banker that you know personally, that's the first person I would call. Instead of just randomly going to a bank, I would go to the bank that knows me best. Yes. Then if you don't have that, then go to the bank that you work with as far as your accounts. So PayPal is even participating. And PayPal has a great, what'd you say, PayPal, who else?
PayPal, Square, Intuit. You need to make sure that they're approved by the SBA. So we know that these organizations are, and they're processing them very quickly. Again, another program where I've seen people, they applied and were funded the same day or maybe within 48 hours. So they're very fast now is how they fund them. But just make sure that they're approved. Do start with your bank. One of the things about this program is that yes, you could get 100% forgiven, but you need to make sure 60% of the funds, the loan that you get, is allocated towards payroll. So if it's just you, it's allocated to it's automatically forgiven, right? And then if it's payroll, if you have employees, 60% needs to go to your payroll. And then the other 40% goes to non-payroll related costs, like your utilities, mortgage, rent, those types of things. And then making sure that you keep I recommend a separate account so it's clean. It does not commingle with anything else so you can keep track of everything that you're spending related to the PPP program and or the EIDL program, because you can qualify for both. You can qualify for all three programs. You just can't use them for the same thing, and you can't use them for at the same time.
So the three programs she's talking about are PPP, EIDL, and what's the third one?
A PUA, pandemic.
Okay, so the pandemic unemployment, yes, you can have unemployment and the PPP. And also, a lot of people don't realize, if you have a business on the side, but you also have a day job, you still can qualify for a lot of this stuff because it is a business.
Yeah, but just understand, if you are on unemployment or pandemic unemployment and you get funded, okay, for PPP, you must suspend your unemployment for the weeks that you are using your funds, because you have up to 24 weeks, and that you have until December 31st, 2020 to use your loan. Okay. So, but once you get funded, you have the money. So it depends on how fast you spend it. So if you spend it in 8 weeks and you're spending it on your other business costs, then you can resume your unemployment if you need to, but you can't be using both at the same time. That's considered double dipping.
Got it. So please be very, make sure that you go and pay attention, get the money. And my thing is, let them tell you no. Yes. Let them tell you no. Let them say, no, you don't qualify, and and then you can see why you don't, and maybe you'll qualify for something else. Now, these are the federal government loans and grants. There are so many grants out there. Lowe's has a grant for women, Black women, and that one, I think tomorrow is the last day to apply.
Tomorrow's
the last day to apply. That was a nice, easy, very quick application as well. PayPal did one, and that was real quick. I mean, they announced it last week and it closed last week. Yeah. I mean, that was a fast one. Facebook did one. I think theirs was open for about a month and a half, maybe. That's closed now too. And Facebook's was for anyone in the world. You didn't have to be in the US. You just had to be a small business that had 2 to something employees. I forgot, but it was not, you couldn't be a solopreneur though. I did know that. You had to have at least 2, I think it was 2 or 5 employees or something. But there are so many out there. You need to pay attention, read, and then just apply and see what happens. And then make sure that so if you all recall, there was all these large businesses getting PPP, and they were turning it back in because they figured out that they were wrong, because they knew that most of their employees weren't working at the time. So therefore they didn't need to pay payroll. And so that's why they returned that money. Also, it's the same thing for small business owners. If you have people and then because of whatever reason you don't have those people, then you need to return a certain portion of that money because you don't have payroll to pay to those people. So that's where you have to pay attention with the PPP. You really need to pay attention, especially if you have employees and you do have payroll. You just need to pay attention and make certain that you don't, get into a bad situation with that. But you guys need to pay attention to all these deadlines because they're coming really fast. Things open and close quickly. Like the EIDL, it happened so quickly, it was just gone. Like blinked and it was gone. So it was great that they announced they've reopened it. So now you need to hurry up and go get it now while it's still open. And like I said, these people are moving really rapidly. They will either, approve you or decline you really quickly. And that doesn't mean no. That just means figure out another way. So I just told you all these banks are doing it. So maybe you just need to go to a different bank. And you can apply to several banks.
Yes.
You can only take one loan.
That's right. And that's what I tell people, because people say, well, I was denied or I haven't heard back from a bank. If you haven't heard back, like I told a lady earlier today, don't let that stop you. Go apply somewhere else. You can apply multiple places. You can only get funded by one place. But if you have a bank that's slow moving and you need your money, go apply somewhere else. We just named several here that you can apply to. PayPal. Most of us do business with PayPal. We have PayPal accounts and Square accounts. Apply to both of them and see who funds you first.
Yes, and then also notice that the PPP, you need to apply by June 30th.
By June 30th.
By June 30th of this year, and that's it. So that's the other reason why you might need to apply several places, because if somebody's moving too slowly, then you need to keep it moving.
Yeah.
So definitely pay attention. Like I said, make sure you read the deadlines. The thing is for me is I see it and I immediately apply, because if I wait, I got 20 things going and I will forget, and then I'll miss the deadline. And when they announced that PayPal was closed, I panicked. And then I looked in my email, I was like, oh, you applied. I was like, phew. But in Lowe's, I applied the first day I saw it. And Lowe's link is on my site on AskDrRenee.info. So is the PayPal link. No, PayPal closed. It was on my site too, though. But
PayPal is closed. They've closed it. They've paused it because they had such an overwhelming response, but they may reopen it. So there's an opportunity for you to get on their list so that when they reopen it, you'll be one of the first ones to know. They will send you an email and then to immediately apply. So don't think, okay, they're closed, you still don't have an opportunity. Get on their list, because when they do open it back up, you want to be on it to apply.
Yeah, they had $500 million that they were giving out, you guys. So Bernadette says, do you have to repay the PPP? So that's the one we're talking about, is the forgivable loan. So there are ramifications and there's calculators on most of the sites if you go. And actually, I want to say, I think I was just scrolling and I saw a calculator on either Facebook or Instagram, and that's how I ended up filling it out and saw that my loan would be completely forgiven. But if you type it into Google, I think you should be able to find a PPP calculator, and you put in your information and it'll tell you. But you can, I understand. The forgiveness is the biggest issue. But if you go and get the information, and like I said, I knew ahead of time before I applied, I knew it was going to be forgiven. And when you fill it out I was on PayPal. When I filled it out, it came on the calculator. It said 0. It said loan amount, 0 zeros. It said I did not have to pay anything back. It told me the amount of money that I would be asking for, and then it said how much to get pay back, and it said 0. So I knew before I signed anything, I already knew that it was 0. So that's the thing. Make certain you pay attention, but you should be able to, if not all of it, most of it should be forgiven. If you're a solopreneur, as she said, 60% has to go to payroll. Well, that's you. So
you, right. It's going to you.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So just make sure, I want to make sure that everybody understands that it's just not automatically forgiven. You actually have to submit an application, a forgivable application to say that I've used the funds. Here's my information to verify that I did it. Here's my application to get the forgiveness, and then they forgive it. Now, I do want to say there's a lot of discussion in Congress right now and amongst advocates to actually streamline this process, especially for those that took lower amounts, which is the majority of small businesses did not take out a loan of more than $150,000. So there are people that really want to just take that and say everybody that got $150,000 or less, it just make it a grant with them not having to do any extra filling out of paperwork or anything. So that is being discussed. That's not the way it is yet. They are steadily, like on a regular basis, updating the rules around this program. So that's one of the things that's up for discussion. But at this point, you would just submit your application to have your loan forgiven. So don't think you don't have to do anything. You do right now have to take action to get it forgiven. But you can get it 100% forgiven. And even if you don't, there are great terms. So it used to be a 3-year term on the loan. Now it's 5 years, and it's with a 1% interest rate. So that's one of the best programs that I've seen out here. But really, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to get your loan forgiven. Like, they've passed the Paycheck Protection Flexibility Act to allow more flexibility, give you more time, release some of the restrictions that small businesses were concerned about. There's no penalty if you have employees that they won't come back, or you can't rehire them, or you're slow to start. You don't have any penalties for that. Also, even if you don't, it was 100% forgiven or 0 forgiven. Now you can get partial forgiveness as well. But I really don't see any reason why you can't get 100% forgiven, especially if you're a solopreneur. Like, right. You're not responsible for any payroll. You're just paying yourself. And create a separate account, if I didn't say that already, for your PPP, and then designate an account with the name, right, to designate it, label it as an owner's draw, so that you know it's going to pay yourself. So when you pull records, when they ask, okay, where's the verification that you paid yourself? You have it.
Yeah.
You have those records that says clearly that this was the owner's draw.
Yeah, awesome. So Rich, honestly, I'll say this. If it's too much paperwork, then leave the money for somebody else. But yeah. Rich, this is really, it was a no-brainer. I've already filled out probably 5 applications, and it took me less than 30 minutes. Yeah. But the amount of money that has returned from that 30 minutes is more than my hourly rate. So exactly. It just makes sense. But right. It's not for everyone. So Rich, we're not forcing you. We're just giving you the information so that you have the information. And perhaps, look, maybe you need to hire a VA or something to help you with the paperwork. But
exactly. Don't be intimidated by paperwork. We're entrepreneurs and business owners. I told someone the other day, I applied for 4 grants. I actually posted it on Facebook, 4 grants in less than an hour. So understand, what you would normally take a long time, you would have to hire a grant writer or some professional to help you with. All of that has been removed. The applications are so simple compared to what they normally would be. I have not spent more than 30 minutes on any given application. And I would say on average it's 10 minutes.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. It's not, it just doesn't take much time. And you know what? We did have somebody who misunderstood that was in her group and thought you have to hire a grant writer. And no. Nope. These are applications for grants that you literally have to put your information about you, your business, and that's it.
That's it.
You do not need a grant writer. It's literally filling in the spaces and hitting submit. You might have to attach some documents, like for me, you attach some 1099s. But that's it. Like, it's really, really, really simple. And like she said, you don't have to hire a grant writer, but there's all these grants that they're like, we want to give you this money.
They're just giving away money, giving away money. And so there's no reason not to take advantage of to take it. You qualify for it. You deserve it, right? And so, but it's a matter of acting, being proactive. When they're, like she said, they come, but then as quickly as they're here, they're gone. So you can't procrastinate, delay, and hesitate and think, okay, I'm going to get back to this next week or next month. By that time, it's already gone, because a lot of these programs are first come, first serve. So the ones that get it in first are the ones that's going to be considered.
Right. The early bird catches the worm.
PayPal, as big as the pot was, which is a 25 million, so they have multi-millions towards the Black Lives Matter and COVID causes, but 25 million for this particular grant, and in 2 days they had to shut it down because it was that much of a response.
Yeah, so definitely make certain that you apply. Just apply. Let them tell you no.
Yeah, and look at the return on investment. Calculate the amount of time if you have an hourly rate, what would that equate to your 10 minutes of your time compared to a possibility of getting a $5,000 grant, $10,000 grant, $15,000 grant, right? Or a $100,000 PPP loan that's a grant when it's forgiven.
Right. What do you think about? What are the thoughts on startups that were established early January 2020? Do you think they're eligible as well?
Okay, so each program is different. So let me start with the Paycheck Protection Program. You have to have 500 or less employees, and you must have been in business operating as of February 15, 2020. So if you just started your business in April or March or April, you're not going to qualify for this program. You had to have been in business February the 15th, 2020. For the EIDL program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, is 500 or less employees, and you must have been in operation by January 31st. Okay. So if you meet those requirements, then you should apply.
Yep. And then the same thing with PUA, you'll see it'll ask you right there on the thing, were you in business? I mean, were you working? And it'll say the dates. It says like the dates that they're talking about usually are March. Yeah. And then they'll also keep asking you if you lost work because of COVID and stuff. So, I think January, you should be fine with PUA, definitely. And then as she said, you should be fine with the other two because it was January 31st. So definitely let them tell you no.
Let them tell you no.
Tell you no. There is no harm or foul if they say no. You just move on.
You move on to the next one.
Well, I tried, and keep on moving, because so many people are doing all sorts of programs. Shea Moisture has a program giving money. Yes. Essence is giving money. I mean, there are so many places. And then Diddy and Mark Cuban and Magic Johnson, 3 people who are trying to help anyone having trouble getting money.
Yes.
So they actually, I know Magic, I think he has a bank that he is part owner of or something.
Yes.
He's working with his people, his bank, and helping people who are having trouble getting this money. So he's doing that. Diddy has a whole website, Our Fair Share, trying to make sure that you get the money that you need. And if you need help, he's going to help you. Mark Cuban, he sent a tweet and was like, if you are needing help, if you are a minority, you're a woman, or you're just a business that's struggling, he wants to help. So these people are helping you to find banks to finance the PPP for you. But like we just told you, we told you 3 banks right here. United Bank is another one. United Bank is a Black-owned bank. Black Lives Matter, and we're trying to promote that these days. Thank you, Jesus. It's about time. But United Bank, One United, I believe is the correct name. I have to look at the app on my phone. But One United is a Black bank. And actually, years ago, I remember watching something about it. So that's when I joined that bank. But they also, you read the fine print on the bottom of their website, they are participating in PPP, and they'll help you get your money. So make sure you go and find a bank. And you know what else was a good hint? They said, try the smaller banks first. So if you don't do business with PayPal or Square or something, then don't worry about those. Try and find a small bank.
Yes, because the money is definitely out there. And when they passed the new bill to provide more funds, they allocated $60 billion specifically to smaller banks, community banks, to help minority and women-owned businesses. So the money is out there. The help is out there for you to be able to get access to paycheck protection funds. I did want to mention these are federal programs. These are 3. There's actually more federal programs, like they have payroll credit programs, but these are the 3 main ones that we talk about and hear about that you can go after. But one thing that people don't talk about that I want to make sure that people pay attention to, that they miss, is the grant opportunities, funding opportunities that are in your city, your county, and your state. Every day there's new funds being started, new grant pools that's being started in your local area. And I don't want you all to miss out. So just do a simple Google search, grants in your county name, or grants in your city name, grants in your state name, COVID relief fund for small business in your city, in your county, in your state. Because again, there's so many billions of dollars in grants that go unused. And why? Because just simply because people don't apply. There was one 2 weeks ago in Fresno, California. They had some people apply, but they had 1.5 million that they were still waiting for people to apply. And if people didn't apply, that money went to another pool. Like all you had to do was submit your information, and you were guaranteed to get it. And they still have people that didn't.
Well, I mean, even look at this money with the PPP. What is it? 2-point-something billion is still available because, and before that, Mark Cuban was the first person I saw that said there is 3-something billion available that no one has touched. And this was after the first set of people found out about PPP. He was like, go get this money. And that's when he said, I will help people if they need help. Yeah. This money it's moving, but there's still a large pool, you guys. $2 billion, a lot of money.
130 billion here for the PPP and 270 billion for EIDL.
See, the money is there, so please go get it. Credit unions, I don't think have it, only because I'm on the credit union site all the time, and I don't recall them saying anything about PPP. So I think your best bet is small banks. If you don't have a relationship with PayPal or Square or something, small banks is probably your best bet.
Yeah, or check with your credit union.
Yeah, well, check with them. Bernadette and I went to school together, and so I'm sure she's talking about the same credit union as I am. And I don't think I've seen it on their site. That's the only credit union website I go to, but I don't recall seeing it on their site. So, but like I said, PayPal, it was like boom, every time you go to PayPal, it was right there, so you couldn't miss it. Yeah, and it's really, they have a whole website set up. It's really easy to click right through.
You don't have to go into anybody's office, meet with anybody. You could just pull up the application online and start filling it out and submit your paperwork. It's that easy.
Yep. So I hope that you all will share this with everyone you know. And I mean, let me tell you, I was sharing this information with my nail lady, my hair person, because these are small business people that we do not want to go out of business. But we want to make sure that they were taken care of during this time when we couldn't leave the house to go get our stuff done. I still haven't been able to go get my nails done, but I made sure she had this information so she could get some checks in the meantime, in between time. So make sure you let those people know, because what we don't want is for them to shut down. I know I just heard that the Lip Bar closed in Detroit. I'm from Detroit. And the Lip Bar closed in Detroit because they just couldn't make it through the COVID-19. Thankfully, the Lip Bar is sold at Target and they're selling online. So the business is still fun, fine, but the brick and mortar they had in the D is gone. So let's help people to stay in business by making sure they have this information. And you might think somebody knows, but I'm telling you, I sent so many people the first video and they were like, Renee, I had no idea.
I had no idea. Yeah.
I didn't even know. And so make sure you let people know, because they just may not know. And you don't know what they don't know until you share the information with them. So make sure they understand, because a lot of people thought, oh, well, I have a job, so I can't get. No, you can, because you have a side business that you collect money for.
Yes.
You collect money. If you collect money for something, service or product you're selling, then you have a business and you qualify.
Yeah.
So make sure you get this money. And then, the people that are gig workers, I'm sure they were paying no attention because they don't consider themselves solopreneurs or small business owners.
But they are.
They are. And they didn't know it. They didn't even know they qualified until some people told them. So you need to make sure that this gets out so that they understand that, hey, I could go get this money too. I didn't even know, because I know personally, because I don't drive anymore, I know Uber is taking a hit because I took Ubers when I wasn't walking. So I know that they're taking a hit. So definitely, please make certain that we share this information with everyone. Please follow Shantae. Her YouTube channel is SheBossTalk, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, if you have never subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. More importantly, please watch. You guys, when I tell you I'm seriously close to getting my Google Paychecks, and actually, I used to get Google Paychecks, And then they changed the structure of how they pay people. And then I stopped. So I was very bummed. And that was years ago. But now I know 2020, I'm going to be back on their payroll, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you, Andrea. I'm glad you enjoyed this information. But you guys, I'm Ask Dr. Renee on all platforms, at Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I'm Ask Dr. Renee. My website is very simple. It's askdrrenee.info. And I want you to please make sure you get your money. This was the original, this was the first video I'm gonna show you. The first video I did was this one, Get Your Money. And that's on my website already. And then I will put this video on my website, and I'll put all the new links that we talked about, and any other links that I come up with, I update the site. So you'll always have the update information, because we can only fit so much in the box below. You'll make sure you go over to my site, and you'll make sure you see all the updated information. I'll let you know what's closed and what's open and all that great stuff. So I'm actually doing a lot of work for you. Okay. So everyone, oh, Bernadette, subscribe to your channel, Shantae. Yeah. So thank you, Shantae, so much for taking time out this evening. I literally came up with this idea this morning. So thank you so much. I think this was great information. Thank you, because I learned something every time she posts something. I learned something. So this was great. And I just wanted to make sure everyone understands to please apply. Let them say no. Please apply. Okay, everyone have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.